Okay, my friends, I'm gonna try and speak over my unit heater there in the corner. It's making noise, but I was quickly gonna show the cab mounts that I'm building. This is for the hot potato over there. I'm gonna be turning around soon. And here's a drawing I'm using. Can't remember where I got this from, one of the forums. And I used this on Old Delicious, and they worked really well. So I'm following these dimensions pretty close and just modifying them slightly. But this here is for the rear mounts. There's a 1x2 piece of square rectangular tubing going across the back of the cab from side to side, and I have this sort of mounted up, mocked into place where I want it. So I was able to take some measurements and make sure that's still what I wanted to do, and it is. My mount is a little bit shorter than the one they used, so that drops that down a little bit, makes this dimension 2.5 inches. That rests on top of the frame, and this is down the side of the frame, and so I just shortened that up a little bit. So in general it's the same design, just tweak the dimensions a little bit. There's my part number on my body mounts. And then this top plate, I will make it longer. Well, actually, I'll probably keep it at 4 inches, and I just won't put my bolts down through the original cab bolt hole locations. I'll just move it over to here and drill down through that tubing, and I'll put it where I want. So that's the rear mount, and here it is, kind of drawn up. I started cutting on it already, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it the 4.5 inches wide. Sorry, 4 inches wide, instead of cutting off the front and making that open. So, and then if I change my mind, I can always cut that off, cut the front off if I need access or whatever, but I think it'll be fine. Then here's the front one, and it has to be narrower this way, so that the cab will fit over it. See, there's not 4 inches here for you to drop the cab down over it, so you need to narrow this up this way. So that's what I'm gonna do. What did I say, 3 inches? But I still make my top plate a little longer and then kind of squeeze it over the top of that. And then I could cut that off if that's not working. But that would help it to line up with the original cab mounting hole that's in there. And same thing here, 2.5 inches on top of the frame. And this will be shorter overall just because it doesn't need, the frame's not as tall right there. So it'll be 6 inches overall, and the rear one is 7 inches overall. There it is, drawn out on the 4x4 tubing. That is at least 11 gauge. I don't remember exactly what it is, but worked well on rusty. So let's cut away. All right, after all that excitement, we got front mounts and rear mounts roughed out. They don't look exactly like the drawing, at least the back sides, but just cutting from what I had, that was the quickest, easiest way to do that. These look as planned. So yeah, so now we can clean them up and then weld them up and weld them up to the frame. So, oh, we need to do the top plate still, so I'll show you those. Get this guy mounted up. Big pile of grinding dust. Okay, I'm showing you here the front cab mount on the passenger side, and I've actually drilled the hole in the top plate, and I put the bushing in place and ran the bolt through that, and so it is ready to tack in place, but right now it's not, it's loose. So, but that'll position it, I'll hold it steady and tack it, and then I'll finish welding it after I pull the cab out of the way, and then I'll put the back angle on there too and get that spacer 4x4 out of the way. So that's what it looks like. Cab's right where I want it, so then I just marked and drilled that hole so I could use that as a holding fixture. So let's get it welded up. So here's driver's side from underneath, just like the other side, ready to tack in place. All right, I marked and am drilling on this mount, and that is right where that hole wanted to be for how the cab is sitting on there. And I'm just demonstrating here, you don't want to be patient drilling this hole. It's pretty thick plate and it's steel, so I'm using this step drill, and it's pretty, it goes through it pretty easy. I'm gonna drill it one hand here. Just keep stepping up. That's almost to 3/4 of an inch, so it's pretty large diameter. And then I'm actually gonna finish it off with a bigger drill for the mount that is going in there. That's actually about 800 thousandths, so 0.8 inches. Pretty large. So I will finish that and then show you how they're all mounted up, ready for welding in place. All right, here it is, clamped up and ready for welding. So here's the front mount, and got the bolt in place through the cab, and we've also got that thing pinned against the frame, cleaned up for welding on both parts. So that's just kind of what it looks like. And then to look at the rear mount, got our bar in place. Those bolts in there all clear. They're holding that mount in place. And the rubber mount is in there. It's ready for being tacked there. So let's do it. All right, we got our mounts all tacked up. Now we can take the cab off and finish the welds. Take those rubber bushings out of the way so you don't melt them in the process. Here's the other side. We're in business. All right, we got the cab up in the air, out of the way, and now we're ready to finish off these cab mounts. And so I put the backing plates, or the gussets, whatever you want to call them, just in place. There's those two. They look similar just by the way I cut them. And I was going to put those two on the rear, but over here you can see there's not as much room. So on the top of the frame, because these lines go next to it, so I'm going to use this shorter one, shorter this way. And there it is in position, and the same over here. There's a big step up on the frame where it's boxed, so this fits just right. That's the one that was gonna be there anyway, so I got them set up. Now there's nothing left to do but the welding. All right. Now we are tacked in place everywhere. I will come back through and finish all these welds. But we got started. We've got front and rear cab mounts all welded in place. And we'll just finish those welds and then set the cab on. She'll be good to roll down the road. I will be showing next replacing this floor, which looks terribly rotten. So we'll get that in a coming video. Yeah, it's really good from here. There's the piece right there. And then we're also going to do this transmission mount. And I think I figured out a way that I will fabricate those brackets to mount that in place there. So again, thanks for watching. It is much appreciated. See you next time.